Hello, book lovers. Welcome to another episode of our podcast, From The Book Nook. I'm Anne, joined by my wonderful co-host, Greg.
You know, we all want to live longer, healthier lives, but how do we actually make that happen? Well, today, we're going deep into Dr. Peter Attia's book, Outlive. And this book, by the way, it's a New York Times bestseller. It's really shaking things up in the world of health and aging.
It really challenges a lot of the conventional thinking about how we approach aging.
Yeah, it's not just about adding years to our lives, but layout to those years, right?
Exactly.
And one thing that really caught my eye was this idea that a standard cholesterol test might not be telling us the whole story about our heart attack risk.
Yeah, so Dr. Attia, he argues that looking at more detailed markers, things like the size and number of lipoprotein particles can give you a much clearer picture. It's about going beyond those kind of like basic checkups and getting a truly personalized understanding of your health.
So it's like getting a high-definition snapshot of your health, not just a blurry one. But then, what do we do with all this information? Information overload could be overwhelming.
That's where Dr. Attia's concept of medicine 3.0 comes in. It's not about dictating a strict set of rules, but rather giving you the tools to think critically.
Okay, so it's less about do this, don't do that, and more about understanding the why. Like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it gets even more interesting when Dr. Attia talks about this idea that an underdiagnosed liver condition could actually be linked to many chronic diseases of aging.
Yeah.
Whoa, hold on. Liver condition? That's not something you usually hear about in the context of aging.
Right. It's a surprising connection he makes. We really need to broaden our understanding of how different parts of our bodies interact.
Okay, so it's not just about addressing isolated issues, but looking at the bigger picture, how our bodies function as a whole system. I see how this medicine 3.0 approach is different. It's about connecting the dots.
Precisely. It's about a holistic, personalized approach to preventative care. And speaking of preventative measures, Dr. Attia is a huge advocate for exercise. He actually calls it the most potent longevity drug available.
Okay, I'm all for exercise. But wouldn't most doctors say that? What's Dr. Attia's take on exercise that's so different?
Well, it's not just about hitting the gym a few times a week. He introduces this fascinating concept called the centenarian decathlon. So imagine training for strength and endurance in a way that lets you thrive well into your 80s and 90s.
I love that. It's not just about looking good. It's about building a body that's truly functional for the long haul. Carrying groceries, playing with grandkids, and just, moving through the world with ease.
That's the goal. It's way more inspiring than just trying to fit into a certain size.
Absolutely. It's about building resilience and maintaining our independence as we age. But let's be honest, exercise is only part of the equation. What about diet? Where does Dr. Attia stand on all the different diet trends out there?
He actually moves beyond the idea of one-size-fits-all diets. He dives deep into something called nutritional biochemistry.
Nutritional biochemistry. Okay, you lost me there. Can you break that down?
Think of it this way. You know how some foods give you energy, while others leave you feeling sluggish? Nutritional biochemistry is about understanding how those foods act at a molecular level, like tiny machines inside your body.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture. So it's not just about calories in, calories out. It's about understanding how different foods affect our bodies on a deeper level.
Exactly. You'll learn some interesting things like how fructose, which is found in a lot of fruits and processed foods, can actually be, really harmful to your health.
Wait, fructose. But fruit is supposed to be healthy. Okay, so it's about being more mindful of what we put into our bodies and understanding those long-term consequences.
That's a great way to put it.
This is all starting to paint a picture of Dr. Attia's approach. It seems to be all about taking a more personalized, informed approach to our health. Looking at the whole picture, not just isolated parts. We've got to remember, though, that we're not just physical beings, right? There's more to a long and healthy life than just our physical health.
You're absolutely right. Dr. Attia makes a crucial point. Physical health without emotional well-being can be a curse.
That's a powerful statement. I think we all know someone who seems to have it all physically but struggles emotionally. It's a reminder that true longevity is about more than just the number of years we live.
Yeah, he really emphasizes the importance of addressing stress, finding purpose, and those strong social connections. These are all essential pieces.
Okay, so we're talking about nurturing our minds and souls, not just our bodies. It's about finding that balance and recognizing that all these aspects of ourselves are interconnected. It's not just about living longer, it's about living a life full of meaning and joy.
Exactly. We've only just scratched the surface of what Dr. Attia covers in Outlive. He goes into a lot more detail about specific strategies for sleep optimization, hormone balance, and the role of genetics.
I'm already feeling inspired to make some changes. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a moment to really absorb what we've learned. We've covered a lot of ground, from Dr. Attia's critique of the current medical model to his vision of a more personalized and proactive approach to health.
We've seen how important it is to understand our individual health risks and take steps to mitigate them, whether it's through exercise, diet, or managing stress.
And we've been reminded that true longevity is about so much more than just physical health. It's about cultivating emotional well-being, finding purpose, and nurturing those meaningful connections.
We'll continue our deep dive into Outlive, exploring some of those more specific strategies for extending both our lifespan and our health span.
We're continuing our exploration of Dr. Peter Attia's Outlive. And before the break, we were talking about emotional well-being, how crucial it is for longevity. It's not just about the body.
Right. You could have like the physique of an Olympian, but if you're constantly stressed, unhappy, it's going to catch up to you.
Oh, yeah. Stress is a big one for me. I know I've been guilty of, burning the candle at both ends and thinking I can just power through it. But Dr. Attia suggests that this always-on mentality can actually speed up the aging process.
Yeah. And he's not just talking about feeling frazzled. He really explains how chronic stress can impact our cells, leading to inflammation and all these downstream problems.
So managing stress isn't just about feeling better in the moment. It's about protecting our bodies for the long haul. So what are we supposed to do about it? I've tried those breathing exercises, but I don't know if I'm doing them right.
Well, he dives into several techniques, but one he seems to be a fan of is mindfulness. You mentioned breathing exercises, and that's a great starting point. It's all about, learning to tune into your body and notice what's happening in the present moment.
I've heard of mindfulness, but honestly, it always seemed a bit, woo-woo to me.
Yeah.
How does he connect that to something as concrete as longevity?
He explains that these mindfulness practices, like meditation, they can actually help, rewire our brains over time. It's training ourselves to respond to stress differently.
Oh, that would be a game changer for me. Less drama, more inner peace. But Dr. Attia doesn't stop at stress management, does he? He also talks about having a purpose in life.
Absolutely. Having a reason to, get out of bed in the morning, something that gives your life meaning, that can be a huge motivator to take care of yourself.
It makes sense. If you're excited about the future, you're more likely to invest in your health, so you can enjoy those years to come.
Exactly. And that sense of purpose can come from anywhere. Your work, relationships, hobbies, even just helping others. It's about finding what lights you up.
So this is about taking control, right? It's about making choices that align with our values and goals for the future even. And speaking of connections, Dr. Attia also highlights social ties, how they're so important for longevity.
He's not just talking about casual acquaintances. He's emphasizing deep, meaningful connections, those relationships where you really feel supported.
Yeah, I get that.
And the science actually backs this up. Studies show people with those strong social networks tend to live longer, healthier lives.
It's amazing. So hanging out with friends, family, it's not just fun. It's good for our health.
Exactly. It's about investing in those relationships that bring you joy, make you feel connected.
So we've got stress management, purpose, social connections. That's like our recipe. But there's this other thing we all struggle with, sleep. I know I've sacrificed sleep so many times to meet deadlines or catch up on chores. Is Dr. Attia saying I'm sabotaging my health?
He makes a pretty strong case for prioritizing sleep. He explains that sleep isn't just about resting our bodies, it's when our cells do all that repair work.
So skimping on sleep is like skipping out on those essential software updates our bodies need to run smoothly.
Yeah, and he even argues that chronic sleep deprivation can actually accelerate aging. It contributes to everything from weight gain to brain fog.
Okay, that's a wake-up call. I'm starting to see sleep in a whole new light. It's an investment. But before we all drift off to dreamland, I want to touch on hormones.
Yeah.
It's a topic that's often surrounded by hype and misinformation.
Right. Well, hormones play a huge role in how we age. And Dr. Attia delves into the science, explaining how certain hormones like testosterone, estrogen, they naturally decline as we get older.
So it's not just wrinkles and gray hair, it's these internal shifts. What's the impact of these hormonal changes?
He actually takes a very balanced approach. He acknowledges the benefits, but he also highlights the risk.
So is Dr. Attia suggesting we all rush out and get hormone replacement therapy?
He stresses understanding your individual hormone levels. Work with a knowledgeable doctor to determine the best course of action.
Personalized care, not a one-size-fits-all solution. I'm sensing a theme here. Whether it's exercise, nutrition, or hormones, Dr. Attia's approach is all about taking ownership, making those informed decisions based on individual needs.
You're right. He empowers us to be active participants in our own health, not passive bystanders.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've gone from mindfulness to sleep and now hormones. It's a lot, but it's really empowering.
It is. And we've only just scratched the surface. He talks about genetics, how to optimize our environment for longevity, even end-of-life care.
Wow. I'm already eager to hear more. But let's pause here for a moment, let everyone reflect on what we've uncovered.
When we come back, we'll wrap up our deep dive into Outlive and explore some key takeaways that you can start applying to your own life today.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been spending some time with Dr. Attia's Outlive, and I gotta say, it's given me a lot to think about. It's not just about tacking on years to our lives, it's about, making those years really count.
Absolutely. Dr. Attia really changes the way we look at aging. It's not something to be scared of or just, something we have to put up with. It's something we can shape.
Yeah. And for me, one of the biggest things I'm taking away is the need to take action now. It's easy to think, I'll worry about that later, But he says that the choices we make today, even little ones, impact our future health.
He has this analogy like a car going towards a cliff. You wouldn't wait until the very last second to hit the brakes. It's all about those course corrections early on.
I like that. So with all this information, where do we even start? What's the most important thing people should do after listening to us talk about this?
The first thing I'd say is ask yourself, what really makes me happy? What gives me energy?
That's interesting. Why focus on joy?
Well, because when you know what makes you tick, whether it's family, hobbies, work, giving back, it's easier to make choices that support your well-being.
When you're excited about life, you want to take care of yourself so you can enjoy it. It's like finding that motivation that keeps you going.
Exactly. And that purpose can be, it can be the best thing to fight off the stress and negativity that can really drag you down.
That makes me think of all the things we've talked about: exercise, nutrition, sleep, managing stress. It's about what works for you.
Right. And that's where Medicine 3.0 comes in. It's about personalized care, being proactive, understanding what you need, working with your doctor to create a plan that makes sense for you.
So being involved in your health, not just following orders.
Yep. It takes effort. You have to educate yourself, ask questions, really stand up for your own well-being.
You got to take charge. Become the CEO of your own health.
That's it. And it's never too late to start.
I love that. So whether you're, in your 20s or 70s, there's always something you can do, small things you could do consistently.
It's about shifting your thinking, from I have to I want to. When you care about feeling good, it's not about giving things up. It's about feeling empowered.
This has been great. Dr. Attia's book, Outlive, has made us rethink aging and given us the tools to take control.
It's a wake-up call to think about not just how long we live, but how well we live.
It's a journey, not a finish line, and you can start today.
So think about this. What's one small step you can take today to invest in your health?
Whether it's moving your body, eating something good for you, getting some sleep, spending time with someone you care about, it all matters. It's about a life full of experiences and connections. Well, that's a wrap for this episode of From the Book Nook.
Thanks so much for joining us. We love having you here in our cozy little corner of the book world.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.
And we'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts and book recommendations in the comments.
It really helps us connect with more book lovers like you.
And we'll meet you right back here in the Nook.
Until next time, keep turning those pages.
Happy reading.
Happy reading.